7 e-bike companies raised hundreds of millions of dollars. Investors called them the future of transportation. Then one by one, they collapsed. One brand lost 99% of its value in a single sale. But the bikes never died with them. Right now, you can buy these bikes for pennies on the dollar. Let's count down the crash. Number 7, Electric Bike Company. This California brand built beach cruisers you could customize down to the color of every single bolt. Riders loved rolling down the boardwalk on a bike that looked like nobody else's. The company ran 2 facilities in Newport Beach, including its own paint shop just for custom colors. For years, it looked unstoppable. Bike shops across the country carried the brand. Customers waited weeks for builds because demand was that high, and the sheer number of color and component combinations made every single bike feel like a one-of-a-kind machine built just for its owner. Then the money ran out. Supply chains got expensive. Costs kept climbing while sales slowed down. In October 2025, Electric Bike Company filed for bankruptcy. The paperwork was brutal. The company owed $6.1 million, but only held assets worth $953,000. There was no plan to reopen, just a shutdown and a sale of whatever equipment and inventory was left. Here is the good news for owners. Most electric bike company builds use standard, off-the-shelf parts. A regular bike shop can still service them without needing special tools. You lose the custom paint booth and the endless color options, but you keep a solidly built cruiser that still rides the same way it did on day one. If you find one used today, you are looking at a well-made bike for a fraction of what early buyers paid from a company that will never charge full price again. There is one catch worth knowing. Official warranty support is gone for good, and proprietary parts could get harder to find as the remaining inventory dries up. If you are shopping for one of these bikes secondhand, ask the seller to document every component and find a local shop that already knows how to service e-bikes before you commit to buying. That small bit of homework protects you from most of the risk while still letting you grab a genuine bargain. Number 6, Fuell. Fuell was built on one of the biggest names in motorcycle history. Eric Buell, the legendary designer behind decades of high-performance motorcycles, launched Fuell in 2019 with a bold promise: sleek electric bikes and electric motorcycles that combined real engineering with modern style, aimed at riders who wanted something more serious than a typical commuter e-bike. Fuell's first model, the Fluid One, actually delivered and won real praise from riders for its build quality and performance. The trouble started with what came next. Fuell ran crowdfunding campaigns for 2 new models, the Fluid 2 and the Fluid 3, raising close to $1.5 million from backers on Indiegogo who paid full price up front, some putting down over $4,000 each. Then the company failed to deliver those bikes at any real scale. Backers waited months, then years. Emails to the company's marketing team bounced back undelivered. Staff quietly disappeared from the company one by one. In October 2024, Fuell filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in a Wisconsin court, confirmed through a letter from the company's lawyer, instead of any real announcement from Fuell itself. The final numbers show just how bad it got. Fuell owed nearly $7 million to creditors and backers combined. When the company's remaining assets, including its trademark, website, and patents, went to auction almost a year later, the entire sale brought in only about $170,000. That covers roughly 2 cents on every dollar owed. Backers who paid thousands for a bike that never arrived were left with almost nothing, and some of the unclaimed e-bikes sat abandoned in warehouses in France and Iowa because storing them cost more than they were worth. If you can find a genuine Fluid One on the secondhand market, you are looking at one of the rare Fuell bikes that actually made it into riders' hands and works exactly as promised. Just do not expect any warranty, support, or replacement parts from the company that built it, since Fuell effectively no longer exists as a functioning business. Number 5. Juiced Bikes. Founded back in 2009 by an Olympic high jumper, Juiced was one of the original American e-bike brands. Long before e-bikes were mainstream, Juiced was already building serious machines. They released the Hyper Scorpion and the Recurrent S, bikes known for real speed and long range that outperformed almost everything else on the market at the time. Juiced was also one of the first companies to put big 52-volt batteries into bikes that regular riders could actually afford, at a time when most competitors were still building smaller, weaker systems that struggled to keep up on longer rides. But growth got messy fast. As the company expanded, customer service complaints piled up for years. Riders reported long waits for repairs and support tickets that went unanswered. Then in 2024, the company went almost completely silent. The website stayed online, but every single bike showed out of stock. communication from the company slowed to nothing. Riders who had bikes sitting in for repair had no idea if they would ever see them again. Juiced was eventually sold at auction for $1.2 million. That is a stunning number for a brand that once led the entire industry and helped shape what an American e-bike even looked like. In 2025, the founders of a rival brand called Electric E-Bikes bought the Juiced name along with its designs. They are relaunching Juiced in 2026 with brand new models built from scratch. If you own an older Juiced bike, the news is mixed. The new owners do not have access to parts for the old models, since the sale never included spare inventory or tooling. Old batteries will not be sold going forward either, since they were never given proper safety certification. The new company even says outright that fresh Juiced models will not be compatible with any of the legacy bikes, since every frame and component is being redesigned from the ground up. Older Juiced bikes, models like the Crosscurrent X and the Recurrent S, are showing up used for very low prices, and plenty of them still ride great years after they were built. Just know that if something major breaks, you are mostly on your own for parts, so lean on your local bike shop and stick to simple, swappable components whenever you can. Number 4. Sondors. Sondors made its name in 2015 with a bike that shocked the entire industry. A $500 electric fat tire bike, sold through crowdfunding at a price nobody believed was real. Many called it a scam before it even shipped, convinced no company could build a real e-bike at that cost. But Sondors delivered, even if the bikes arrived late and slightly under the promised specs. And it kept delivering for years afterward, eventually selling more than 63,000 e-bikes across 72 countries. Then came the Metacycle. In 2021, Sondors unveiled an electric motorcycle priced at just $5,000, promising an 80-mile-an-hour top speed and an 80-mile range. It looked like a genuine revolution in the industry. Orders poured in, along with full upfront payments from thousands of eager buyers. But the Metacycle ran wildly late, missing its original timeline by more than a year, and when bikes finally shipped, they fell far short of the promised specs. A former employee later described the entire project as a freight train wreck turned into a dumpster fire. By 2023, the damage was done. Sondors owed nearly $20 million in customer deposits alone, sitting as a liability on the company's books that it could not cover. The company's Los Angeles headquarters shut its doors for good. Support stopped answering complaints entirely. Social media went silent for months. Sondors entered receivership, leaving thousands of riders and depositors with nothing to show for their money, and a former employee later raised accusations of outright fraudulent business practices. Here is the strange twist. In 2025, founder Storm Sondors came back, pre-selling a new electric motorcycle called the Meta AT under the same brand name, asking customers to trust the company one more time. Whether this comeback holds up is still an open question, given the brand's long history of delays and broken promises. But bikes from the original Sondors lineup, the fat tire cruisers and folding models that actually shipped years ago, are widely available secondhand for a fraction of retail price, and most of them still ride just fine today, completely unaffected by whatever happens with the company's next chapter. Number 3. Cowboy. Based in Belgium, Cowboy built sleek city bikes with batteries hidden inside the frame, built-in theft tracking, and an app that automatically adjusted power as you pedaled. People called it Europe's answer to VanMoof. Founded in 2017, Cowboy raised more than $147 million from investors who believed connected city bikes were the next big shift in how people got around urban streets. Then came 2023. Cowboy teetered on the absolute edge of bankruptcy. A safety recall added even more pressure right when the company could least afford it. For a while, it genuinely looked like another beautifully designed brand was gone for good, joining a growing list of e-bike companies that burned through investor cash faster than they could sell bikes. But Cowboy got a second chance. In December 2025, a French company called Rebirth bought a majority stake in Cowboy for $17.6 million. Production is set to restart in France sometime in 2026, under new ownership and a new plan. That is a genuine comeback story, but the sale price still tells you everything you need to know. A company that raised nearly $150 million from investors sold for a tiny slice of that total. For buyers, this means used Cowboy bikes from the original run are floating around at steep discounts right now. These are bikes built with real engineering and thoughtful design behind them, from a brand that is actively proving it can survive collapse and come back stronger on the other side. Cowboy and VanMoof were direct rivals for years, fighting over the exact same customers in the exact same European cities. Both leaned hard into sleek design and smart technology. While VanMoof went bankrupt, Cowboy barely survived the year before needing a total rescue. It shows just how brutal this part of the e-bike market became once dozens of well-funded companies were all chasing the same small group of city riders at the same time, all burning through investor money to win a market that could not support them all. Number 2. VanMoof. If you lived in a major city between 2018 and 2023, you almost certainly saw one of these rolling past you. VanMoof bikes had a signature triangle-shaped frame, lights built directly into the frame, and a phone app that could unlock the bike and track it down if it ever got stolen. People nicknamed it the Tesla of e-bikes. Prices ranged between $2,000 and $4,000, and VanMoof managed to sell more than 190,000 bikes across 20 different countries. The company raised close to $190 million total from investors chasing the electric mobility boom. But the same technology that made VanMoof feel special is also what broke it from the inside. Every part was custom made just for VanMoof bikes. A normal bike shop could not repair one without VanMoof's own specialized tools. That meant every single repair had to go through the company directly, and repair requests piled up faster than VanMoof's small service network could ever keep up with. In July 2023, a court in Amsterdam officially declared VanMoof bankrupt. Riders panicked almost immediately. Many worried their bikes would simply stop working, since the digital key system relied entirely on VanMoof's own servers staying online. In Amsterdam, owners started carrying old-fashioned chain locks again, worried that other stranded VanMoof riders might try stealing parts off their bikes just to keep their own machines running. Within weeks, a company called Lavoie bought VanMoof out of bankruptcy for what reports described as tens of millions of dollars. That still marked a massive collapse from a company once valued somewhere between $500 million and $768 million just 2 years earlier. Lavoie itself builds high-tech electric scooters with connections to Formula One engineering, so the new owners at least understand complicated vehicle technology. Resale prices took a hit too. Bikes listed for sale right after the bankruptcy averaged about $187 less than bikes listed just before the news broke. Not a total crash in price, but a clear sign that buyers had gotten nervous almost overnight. Today, VanMoof bikes are noticeably more affordable on the secondhand market, and the brand itself is still alive under new ownership, still building bikes, and still working to earn back the trust it lost during those chaotic few weeks in 2023. One owner told a reporter he had bought his VanMoof just 9 months before the bankruptcy news broke, paying close to $4,000 for it. He rode it almost every single day to his job in downtown Amsterdam, and he kept riding it after the bankruptcy too, because the bike itself never stopped working. That single story sums up this whole list better than almost anything else. The company around him fell apart. His bike did not. Number 1. Rad Power Bikes. This one might be the biggest shock on the entire list. Rad Power started as a garage project back in 2007. The founder converted regular bicycles into e-bikes using homemade battery packs he built himself as a teenager, then used crowdsourced funding to turn that hobby into an actual company. That small idea eventually grew into the Rad Rover, the Rad Wagon, and the Rad Runner, bikes that sold in the hundreds of thousands across America. For years, Rad Power was the very first name most people thought of when they thought about buying an e-bike. At its absolute peak in October 2021, Rad Power Bikes was valued at $1.65 billion, billion with a B. The company had raised over $329 million total from investors who were convinced this was the future of everyday transportation in American cities and suburbs alike. Then everything started falling apart. 4 different CEOs cycled through leadership in just 3 years, a sign of serious internal chaos. Revenue dropped nearly 80% from its highest point. On top of all that, the Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a recall over lithium-ion battery fire risks tied to certain models, warning owners to stop using the affected batteries immediately. In late 2025, weighed down by all of it, Rad Power Bikes officially filed for bankruptcy. The final sale price will genuinely make your jaw drop. A company once worth $1.65 billion sold for just $13.2 million to a company called Life Electric Vehicles. That works out to a 99% drop in total value. 5 separate buyers competed at the bankruptcy auction, starting with an opening bid of $8 million, before Life EV eventually won with the highest offer. Here is where it gets good for you as a buyer. Rad Power is still selling off leftover inventory at massive discounts right now. The Rad Rover 6 Plus, a fat tire bike built for city streets and weekend trail rides, has been spotted selling for around $849, way under its original retail price. Other models like the Rad Runner and the Rad Wagon have seen similar price cuts as the company clears out warehouse stock under its new owners. The new ownership plans to move production into the United States using a special import process that avoids extra customs fees, then keep building bikes right here going forward. It is still unclear whether every warranty claim from before the bankruptcy will be honored, so if you already own a Rad Power Bike, keep your receipts and reach out directly to confirm your coverage. 7 brands. 7 collapses.